Hello there, you're watching News9 Live. My name is Pankaj Mishra and this is a special continuing series of News9 Live, which is Who Stole My Home? Now this is a question that many, and when I say many, it means lakhs and lakhs of home buyers are grappling with it every day. Why so? Because they have invested money, and secondly, they haven't got their homes and they're also paying the rent along with the EMI. Now, millions of individuals nationwide, not just Delhi NCR, are facing significant financial burdens due to prolonged construction delays and deceitful dealings as they strive to realize their dream of home ownership. You can also call us and share your queries and concerns. And on this show, we will be taking your questions with the eminent panel of experts guests who would help us understand that what is it? Is it the authority? Are these the banks, the courts, or the developer who would have the solution to this realty mess of who stole our homes? Now, this has been ongoing for quite some time now. Some of the projects have run into 10 years or such a delay. This is criminal. This is something which needs attention and also needs a closer look on how best the situation can be salvaged, because this is the middle class that we are talking about. This is the families that we are talking about who have spent their earnings and savings and are still paying the EMIs to get their dream house. Yet there are almost 2 lakh and above units, dwelling units that need to be handed over only in Delhi and NCR. Talking about Gurgaon, talking about Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore, all these tier 1, tier 2 cities are also facing the similar concerns. Today we will be joined by an eminent panel of guests, and they would be helping us to decode, to understand how best the situation can be salvaged, and if at all it can be salvaged, how much time will it take? Samir Jasuja, MD, Property Equity, joins us on the show. And Sudeep Chakravarti, a Unitech buyer, is also there with us. Sudeep, let me begin with you first, as we always do. Let's hear out your story and what is the grievance, because Unitech Group has made headlines for not just for the delay, but also for the appearances in Supreme Court. Please elaborate what has happened.
When we bought this unit, it's now almost 14 years we have purchased this unit. Now we have already shed around 95% of our budgeted thing. Initially, yes, we were Unitech owner was there. Now there is a new board which has taken over, and which is headed by Mr. Y.S. Malik. And after this board has taken over, it's almost now 14 years, a brick hasn't moved. Now this case is obviously taken care by Honorable Supreme Court. The new board has not got any solutions till yet. And it's almost the last hearing which has happened was in February 2023. So it's a big pain now. When the new board had taken up, it was told to us that this will give us relief. Rather than giving us relief, now it's almost more than 3 years where we haven't seen a brick moving. But earlier, when Unitech owners were there, we were still managing our construction bit by bit. But now it's on standstill situation. And when we talk about a middle class family, along with the rent, we are paying the EMIs,
right?
So which is a big burden, and 14 years is a huge time.
Huge time, indeed a huge time. कहते हैं 14 वर्ष का वनवास भी हो जाता है और यहाँ पर अपने ही घर, अपने ही निवास के इंतजार में, people have anticipated and waited for such a long time. Samir Jasuja, MD, Prop Equity, also joins us here. Samir ji, we have spoken earlier also, and the situation hasn't changed much since then. Help us understand, and our viewers also, that what are the responsibilities towards the builders and developers when it comes to timely delivery of the project?
So, this question has to be taken into two parts. One is projects that were pre-RERA and projects that were post-RERA,
True,
right?
true, fair enough.
Projects that were pre-RERA, the agreement to sell that was signed stipulated that if the developer delays the projects after a certain period of months, say suppose he's supposed to deliver in 3 years and he takes a moratorium period in addition of 6 months to a year. After that, he has to pay a penalty, which was typically used to be rupees 5 rupees per square foot per month.
Okay.
That used to be the case earlier before RERA came into being, right? So that the developer had to abide by, and if he didn't pay, then you could go to the courts, like the consumer forum or the district court, and then followed by high court. That was the two options that were available to you. This is pre-RERA. Post-RERA, developers have to pay a penalty. First of all, the agreement has to be equated equally between the buyer and the developer, because earlier what used to happen was the developer used to charge 18% interest and give 5 rupees a square feet, which was 2-3% interest only per annum. If you calculated on the amount paid for the flat and the penalty that he was paying. But after RERA, it is equated that if the developer is going to charge 12% for delay of payment to the customer by the customer, then 12% is what he's going to pay if he delays the project, right? So it is
Right.
different in different cases. That is and the developer could be charged 10% of the project value as penalty, and there would be imprisonment also.
Right. Manish Jain, Unitech buyer, also joins us. Manish ji, Samir ji elaborated on what are the responsibility and what are the jurisdictions also, what are the penalties also, and also the expected lines that the builders and developers should work on. You are a Unitech buyer, you have purchased a property in Unitech from the Unitech group. What is your story? What is the backstory? And what is happening till now?
See, as Sudeep also mentioned, the property was purchased in 2008, ending 2009, starting with the promise of delivery within 3 years. However, Unitech got into the 2G scam, and I don't know what happened, but the funds got diverted, because of which I think so the uh, old management of Unitech is behind bars, and but a lot of money was swindled off from this project, and which led to uh, the project getting stunted. After which the group of people got together, approached the management once again, and we said, why don't we do it in a partnership basis where, if there are outstandings from the home occupants, we can
Haha.
pull in money and we can then restart the work. So one of the towers, which was C3, we started doing the work and there was good progress. However, 2017-18, I think so, when the Supreme Court came in, uh, it was taken over by Supreme Court. We got stuck and no further progress was seen. Now, management has been appointed for this project, where very eminent personalities from the industry and administrators are on board. However, if you look at the balance sheet of Unitech, currently also you will see that they're drawing salaries.
Uh-huh.
However, there is inaction in the last 3 years.
In action.
Now, yeah, when the management has been appointed, they should have been given some freedom. However, whenever we go to them and say what's happening, they say we are creating tenders and we will try to get the work completed ASAP. But months and months have passed, and this has led to the people like us who invested for maybe a return or for staying have lost great money. Now, what the other gentleman was talking about, 5% penalty, the Supreme Court got us to sign where, I'm not very sure whether it was the Supreme Court or we had to give up this 5% penalty also.
Okay.
Now, post the new management coming in, I think so. We don't want to get into a litigation which would further delay the process, and hence we all decided, okay, let's go ahead. Let's forego the 5% penalty. Otherwise, it will be more than what we
What
have paid.
what was the
Uh,
penalty for? What was the penalty for after RERA came into being?
No, so this was, as the gentleman talked about, there is this clause of 5% if the builder delays the property. He
Okay.
is liable to pay 5% penalty to the
Sudeep will come to
homeowner.
you. Yes. So the builder is supposed to give the penalty to the buyers.
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
correct.
that's understood. I was under the impression that you gave the penalty.
No, we did not give the penalty. However, the whole point is today, people have invested, depending upon the flat size, somewhere close to 30 lakhs to 60 lakhs. Now, not only that, uh, the money would not have appreciated. When we talk to a few people, they say, "Arey, abhi to aapka property thoda appreciate ho gaya hai." But that's not the point. The point is we are spending double. We've been paying the bank EMIs.
Yes.
The bank EMIs are also over now. Not only that, they are paying for our rental incomes. So it's a double whammy for us as
Absolutely.
investors. And
Absolutely.
this is where, we thank your channel News9 to have brought this issue so that it can be made public and, more and more intervention. And there is serious intervention needed from the government, whether it be UP government, whether it be CREDAI, whether it be any the PM office, because
Right.
a lot of people are suffering because of this.
Right. Indeed, stay with us. We are encouraging our viewers also to call us and share their views. If they have any query or concern, they can call us on the numbers which are flashing on the screen and share our views. Sudeep, Samir, you were saying something. Please go ahead. You'll have to
It
unmute
was
yourself.
rupees 5 per square feet per month.
Yes, it's fine. It's fine.
Right. That was the point I was making. And Unitech is a very peculiar case because that is the only one big case that is not being resolved. Whereas if you look at JP and when you look at Amarpali, which were the two other big cases, they are moving to some resolution via NCLT and via the government intervention. So I am failing to understand why the government intervention in the Unitech case is not happening, and they installed a new board. But why is the new board not acting up? Maybe they have lack of funds to complete the project. In that case, the buyers have to sit down with the new management,
Right.
and they'll have to come up with the funds to complete the project, additional funds, because otherwise there will be no solution to this.
Absolutely, it's a vicious circle, I would say, and the way it operates. Trust me, if you are living in Delhi NCR and the viewers who are watching this, it is a tedious job. There are protests, people can't leave their work, and then there are so many stages to go and make yourself heard that after beyond a certain point of time, people tend to give up. Now, Sudeep, talking about running from pillar to post. What is it that you felt was the most tedious thing to make others understand or to make other department understand? And what are the aspects which you think that you have been able to make your mark, you have been able to convince the authorities that yes, this is the case? Is there any bright side and the dark side of your protest and struggle also?
See, last 14 years we have been, as a group, we have been going, as a buyers group, we have been going in lots and ups and downs, right? With negotiating with the earlier promoters and everybody.
Right.
Now, the biggest tragedy is when the new board had taken over, there were around 600 crores deposited with the Supreme Court. Now, we always suggested the new management or new board key people who are very close to the position or even who have got the PLs. Now, they should be given the position so that they become the role model or they give confidence to the buyers that yes, we are working for you, and that's giving us the relief. But the problem is new board is not ready to listen, and they always talk about say processes and a lot of different things. But give that immediate relief to the buyers, no plan is there.
Right. So no plan, obviously, this is something that leaves us also nowhere. And, it's only as much that a protesting group or residents association could do. Meanwhile, Nilesh joins us from all the way from Surat in Gujarat. Nilesh, please go ahead and share your views.
Yes, I thank you very much again for highlighting the buyer's pain. I personally visited Delhi in Noida yesterday to participate and to demonstrate our pain also. And when you look at the frustration of a buyer, he has to travel all the way from Surat at his own expense, taking all the time, and still nobody is ready to listen. I just want to, and I went through the society also, the Sector 117 society. The living condition is there also quite unsafe. So I just want to ask the new management that what actually they are doing, and whatever they are doing, are they why they are not communicating with the buyers? That is one of the basic things. And this home, let me remind the management, it's not a CM Awas or not a PM Awas. And where the government is putting some kind of subsidy. This is the hard-earned money of the middle class, very hard-earned money. So why the management is not communicating with the buyers, and why the Supreme Court is also not giving some relief or giving some communication to the buyers? There is nothing wherein the Supreme Court cannot communicate with the buyers directly. Why can't they communicate? This is such a big problem. So they should communicate. At least the communication is the basic thing. Forget about everything.
Absolutely.
But the communication is the basic thing.
Absolutely. Nilesh, I understand from your answer and from your concern that you are also one of those who owns a property in Unitech. Am I right?
I'm a buyer there. I'm a buyer waiting since 2008.
You're a buyer. You're waiting for... And you are calling us from Surat. So I presume you also travel from Surat and Noida frequently.
Definitely. I traveled on Saturday evening. I took the train to Delhi. I went to the site. The train was delayed by almost 1 hour. I reached there at the site and then when I came back today also, due to heavy rains in Madhya Pradesh and all those, train was delayed by 8 o'clock. The train was delayed by 8 hours. Sorry, I was scheduled to reach Surat by 5:15 in the morning. It reached at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and I am in my office at the moment. So why this management, why the Supreme Court is not understanding this basic pain? And they are not communicating. I fail to understand what is the basic, what is the difficulty in communicating with the buyers or the group of buyers. Why
Absolutely.
are we forced? Do we like to protest? Do we like to travel? The answer is no.
Nilesh, I couldn't agree more with you here. Why I, empathize, because obviously this, Samirji, the frustration that we could hear in Nilesh's voice is something that tells story. It is not just about protest, it is not just about traveling, it is about putting your hard-earned money and putting your belief. Sakh, banking, aksar kehte hain that it works on belief. If we keep our money in the bank, there is no security guard there, right? It is our belief. Sakh par ye chalta hai. So, what are the challenges that the builders are facing and what is the way out? And secondly, this going incommunicado is very common. It's not just Unitech. I can name other property owners also, other developers also, who just vanish in thin air and don't respond to your calls, queries, emails, anything. What is the way out, Samirji?
Sir, there is definitely a way out, especially with the fact that RERA has now been established in more than 22 states. I think it's going to be a time-consuming process before RERA gets enough teeth and can penalize these developers. Unfortunately, at this point in time, RERA is going to take that time because they're not heavily staffed to monitor these projects. And developers are getting away with it. There are no consumer grievance cells that are there. Now, for example, some positive steps that are being taken by, say, Delhi RERA and Chandigarh RERA. The RERA chairman has taken a positive step by appointing a grievance officer at the developer's level, at the developer's office, because developers have an habit of, and you don't know you'll be running from the developer's office from pillar to post as to who to go to. One guy will direct you to the other guy, and the other person will direct you to the other person, right, in the developer's office. Now, at least small steps are being taken, like a grievance officer is being appointed. Now, the person will go to that grievance officer. The grievance officer has to give it in writing as to what resolution is he giving, and that can be then taken to RERA, and RERA will then pull him up and question him directly. So it is appointing a person at the developer's office to answer to the buyer, right? Which was not the case earlier. Now this is being done by some RERAs. Some RERAs have to yet implement it, right? So unfortunately, it is a slow process, and it has to be speeded up. And this problem, more of this problem of these stalled projects is actually pre-RERA projects. So there is nothing that RERA can do about that, right?
Absolutely.
If there are 450,000 units that were stalled worth $50 billion, and we did that report and we presented that data to SBI and Ministry of Finance when they came out with the last mile funding, right? That was on behest of all these stalled projects, and some resolution has happened thanks to that. But with RERA coming in, RERA has to have stronger teeth, has to have more infrastructure available to them within their offices to be able to address this problem.
Right. Manish Jain ji, any benefit, any help from RERA's side so far?
So, technically speaking, RERA is not involved because these are, as Mr. Samir also said,
previous
these are projects pre-RERA.
Okay.
Now, having said that, my only request today is, and answering to the question which you asked, is there light? Our only request is that if Supreme Court is supposed to hear a case, why is it being deferred time and again? Our request to the honorable courts and the agencies involved is, if you're taking a timeline, if there are dates to be done, please hear them out, come out with solutions, because then only will some work start at site. Because when we go to the builder, they say that, we are awaiting Supreme Court's approval. In fact, all the builders of Unitech were forced to sign some papers which allowed the change of plan, because Unitech new management stated that unless until people sign this papers, we will not be able to amend the plans. And unless until we amend the plans, we will have no houses to sell. And if we don't sell new houses, where do we get money to put in?
Absolutely.
So, they are thinking on their lines of how to make the company profitable, but they are not thinking on helping out the
affected
home
individuals
for last 15 years. So my only request, if anybody is listening from the Supreme Court or related authorities, is please take this up seriously. We know you do your job well, but this is of importance, great importance, because thousands of people's livelihood is totally dependent, and we have been facing a lot of pain.
Sudeep ji, if we talk about the timeline as far as the Unitech group is concerned, since you and Manish both and one of our callers also was the affected party home buyer at the Unitech group, it looks like 2009 multiple projects launched, 2011 date of delivery missed, 2015 criminal cases registered against promoters, 2016 home buyers moved to Supreme Court, and then the list goes on. Unitech MD also arrested. 2018 audit shows 5,000 crore was diverted to offshore tax havens. All these things, I mean, they look, they are just beyond us. Simply speaking, they are just beyond us. You and I are simple, salaried people, business people who earn money and who invest to get a property done, right? Now, help us understand what is the message that it goes out to people of the younger age group, say 30-35 years. I mean, हम अक्सर अपने बच्चों को, अपने relatives को बोलते हैं पैसे बचाओ, घर लगो, property में लो, invest करो. But actually, are we not asking them to, put their money in somewhere जहाँ कोई return ही नहीं मिलना है, जहाँ वो डूबना almost certain है at this rate?
See, when we bought our units, it was a planned thing where we wanted we should get within 2 years, 2.5 years.
Yes.
The only solution is to the youngsters or people, eligible home buyers who want to go for their own homes. The thing is, go for uh, ready to possess or ready to shift flats. Do not, because this CLP plans and all this is actually, they manipulate it. They construct, say 50%, 60% and get the money to 95%. So you shed off all the things. So this is actually a big problem. And if you see, most of this Noida region, the people are suffering. This is pre-RERA.
Absolutely.
So ideally,
Yes.
ideally it should be ready to move flats, and because see, at that point of time, we also knew that Unitech was a renowned builder, and we got those properties. But
Right.
this also backfired,
But
and we
indeed, I
have been
mean,
fighting, still fighting.
yes. And the visuals of, protest which happened pretty recently in one of the parts of Noida, uh, is also Unitech home buyers protesting there. Clearly goes on to show that you will have to take time out to fight this battle, which is an uphill task, first of all, and secondly, whether you are being heard or not. I mean, Unitech, as both Sudeep and Manish mentioned, that communication is not there. Vivek Tyagi, President, Anthea Home Buyers Association, now joins us. Vivek ji, thank you so much for speaking to us. Well, we have almost, seen the crisis that is unfolding as of now. What are your views? Tell us about Anthea Home Buyers Association. What is it, firstly? And secondly, what are the ways that you are trying to help the buyers and at least change the situation, fix this mess?
Thank you, Pankaj, for giving me this opportunity. Sudeep ji has already explained all the sufferings and everything. I'll also say a few words, people are dying actually, People are dying without justice. That is the biggest failure of our Supreme Court and this government also. People when booked, these flats, maybe they were 40, 50, now they are 60, 70. People are dying their natural death. They are dying with cancer. People have retired. People have moved out of Delhi NCR. People have lost their earning member in the family, so they don't have paying capacity. There are all sorts of issues. But I'll focus now on the solution. So when it comes to solution, recently on 30th August, we met Finance Minister, Honorable Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji. And what we proposed basically is, out of court settlement. Because today, all the home buyers, they are ready to pay money. I mean, at least 90% people, they are ready to pay money. They want their homes. All the projects are in positive cash flow.
Right.
Finance Ministry is not required to invest their Samaya fund. So what is the hitch?
What's the hitch? Absolutely.
Board wants to construct. We want our homes. We are ready to pay. So we propose to Honorable Finance Minister that, Madam, why can't we do a out-of-court settlement?
Right.
When both parties, there are only two parties. Government of India is the new owner of Unitech, and we home buyers are suffering parties. So when both parties are ready, let's do one out-of-court settlement. What is Supreme Court doing today? They are calling Noida Authority, they call DTCP Haryana, and they ask them to cooperate with the new board. Our Honorable Finance Minister can also do this very well. Supreme Court needs to take out dates from their busy schedule, whilst our own government, our own Finance Minister, they are our people. We have elected them. They have all the time for us. They met us. We are really thankful to Honorable Finance Minister. So, Honorable Finance Minister has promised us that she will look into this. She will speak to the ASG, Shri and Venkatraman, and then their office will get back to us. And we are very much hopeful. We are very, very hopeful that government will try to do one out of the court settlement. Honorable Finance Minister can also call one meeting not only with all the representatives of all the associations of different 73 projects, but Honorable Finance Minister can also call one meeting in which, she can call the Noida Authority as well as CM of UP.
Right.
She can also call one meeting with the CM of Haryana and DTCP Haryana. She can also ask them to cooperate with the new board. There are absolutely no issues. All Supreme Court is asking them, DTCP Haryana and Noida Authority, to defer their payments. Don't ask the payments upfront. Let the projects be executed. Once projects are executed, new board will have money, they will be paid.
And the board who will execute the project has the money to do it?
No, board does not have the money. So they want this money from us and we are ready to pay. Only 5 to 10% people are there. Like I spoke earlier, there are people whose earning member has died. So they don't have paying capacity.
Okay. And
People
what is the completion percentage? Is it 80% complete, 70% complete, or 0%?
Different projects have different stages. Like for example, our Anthea floors, there is not even foundation. Nothing is done. Zero construction. So project has to start.
So, sir, to expect those home buyers who see that 0%, 10% or 20% or 30% project is done, expecting them to pay the whole money.
No, not whole money.
Okay.
See, what is presented in the Supreme Court as per resolution framework only, people will be asked to pay what is the balance money.
Okay, fair enough.
People are ready to pay.
That is one way out. Vivek Tyagi ji, please, thank you. Stay with us. Valuable points. Gentlemen, we have almost approached the end of the show here, but one final word, starting with Samir Jasuja ji. You heard, Samir, what Mr. Tyagi had to say. Obviously, a ray of hope and at least forward-looking approach. That's there. Your take on that and how possible it is what Mr. Tyagi just mentioned.
Yeah, see, like I'm always saying that there is a last mile funding that is available through Swami Fund. My humble suggestion to all the Unitech buyers would be that why don't they approach Swami Fund and at least understand from them that why are they not willing to touch those projects? Because prices have gone up, there's unsold inventory there, Swami Fund can easily recover their money. So what is the reason? Is it because of the Supreme Court that they are not looking at those projects at all? Because they've done over 100 projects completion by providing last mile funding. And this is such a huge problem that they will solve of such huge buyers. So rather than making an effort of going to Unitech first and breaking your heads over there, where they are not offering you any solutions, the solution is going to come from one possible solution could come from Swami Fund and their understanding of what the problem is, because they'll be better equipped to understand the problem, because the governments are also working with Swami Fund to tell them that these are the stalled projects that you please provide funding to complete to satisfy as many home buyers as you can. So my suggestion would be, one, to approach Swami Fund in Bombay and find out what is the real problem with Unitech, why they're not touching it.
Right. Obviously.
The second is, of course, a deep understanding of what the courts are saying. Because nobody is going to buy the Unitech project like what the MD of Unitech is saying for amended plans till they don't have an assurance of financial closure of that particular project. And that has to come from an institution.
Indeed, that has to come from an institution, and the thing is, by the time it reaches into the jurisdiction of the institution, how much more time are we looking at? Manish, your final thoughts, talking about closure, what is the best solution? Kahan jaake, where does it end?
I like the idea of Vikas in the terms that, public-private partnership in the terms the Unitech board and the home buyers can get together. We were working on that model before the Supreme Court came in. There can be properties which can be handed over. However, the government writes off crores and crores of loans of big industrialists and various other departments. It is time the government takes notices of such projects and come up and support them. And once the projects are cash positive, the government can withdraw their money. As a home buyer, we are not asking for our penalties, but we are wanting to get our homes as soon as possible. And I thank you people for bringing this to the notice of general public and
Indeed.
airing. Yeah.
No, I mean, let me also actually, take a time to actually mention Samir ji, Mr. Tyagi, yourself, and rest of the viewers also who join us and also show interest, keen interest in issues which need immediate attention as well. So the final word from your side, I just wanted to understand, one of our viewers has written on our YouTube group on the broadcast that they are watching, that what about those who have paid the 100% amount to the builder and yet are paying the EMIs to the bank? What recourse can they have?
See, this question I am also not able to answer myself, because see, we have also paid around 95 to 98%.
Absolutely.
And now the question is, last hearing has happened in February 2023. Now, this cases has to be fast tracked to give relief to the buyers who have paid 100% or have got PLs, or maybe closure of say 3 to 6 months, people will get their flats. Now, this will also give confidence to the buyers who have invested in Unitech. So this question has to be put to the highest authorities. When can they give this relief? And
there seems to be some transmission issue there with Sudeep's line. But yes, Mr. Manish, please carry on. Finish.
People who have paid 100% would not need to pay, because there are many people who have only paid 30%, 40% or 50%. So the whole idea is it will have to be taken up on project to project basis, saying that, okay, if I were to do 5 towers, what is the amount of work left versus what is the amount of capital which can be generated from those home buyers.
Right.
A balance should be done, and then you see the deficit with the government, or some banker has to come forward on individual project to project basis. And in case if there is no government intervention, I believe the homeowners today, for example, if I invested 50 lakh rupees, I am losing interest on 50 lakh rupees today. Now, if I were asked to put in a lakh rupee more, I would not mind, because, the earlier I get my apartment, it starts paying me back.
Right, absolutely.
Whether I stay in it, I put it on rent. And hence, most of the builders or most of the homeowners would be willing to contribute whatever is outstanding, a little bit of, if anything extra is needed.
Right.
So I also request one simple request, that thank you for inviting us, but you should also invite Mr. Yudhvir Singh Malik, who's the...
We are trying to talk to the individuals, the responsible companies also, and we would try to rope them in as well to get the story from all angles. And absolutely goes without any saying that this burning issue needs a closure. And what is it that is stopping it? What is it that is acting as a roadblock in the timely delivery of the homes to the home buyers, not just in Delhi NCR, but all across the nation, is something that we all need to ponder upon. I thank my guests for taking time out and joining us. Much appreciated here. More news and updates continue here on News9 Live. Do watch this space.
Pakistan is actually genociding Baloch people. So being Baloch is a crime. If you are a Baloch, it means in the eyes of Pakistan, you don't have any right to live.
The Chinese and Pakistanis are colonizing the Baloch and exploiting their resources.
The Baloch armed struggle will continue unless China withdraws, Pakistan military withdraws from Balochistan, and give Baloch complete authority to decide for themselves.
The Baloch feel that if they don't act now, they will become marginalized.
What lies ahead for Balochistan?
Balochistan, Bangladesh 2.0, streaming now.
Gautam Adani, one of the richest men in the world, or a business honcho accused of manipulating the market?
अदानी जी 609 नंबर से दूसरे नंबर तक कैसे पहुंचे? सिर्फ एक सवाल पूछा, नरेंद्र मोदी जी, आपका अदानी जी से रिश्ता क्या है?
He has given the space, the railways, the airport, which he has no experience also. So the country's interest has been compromised.
Government has been very clearly supporting few industrial groups, including Adani's industrial group.
Target Adani, streaming now. Chat GPT. It can generate codes and human-like responses through text, write stories, and do a lot more.
I work in a newsroom with anchors, researchers and scriptwriters, graphic artists, producers, video editors, camera crew. But does a newsroom really need them today?
All of us have to think about unique and distinctive value addition that cannot be automated or repeated or replaced by a machine.
ChatGPT may kill many companies.
A human has to be in the loop with an ability to control this.
Dark Side of the Boom. Streaming now.
China won't let us rest easy on our borders, but they will keep flooding our markets. What does Xi Jinping really want?
I think he wants the Indian market, no doubt about it. It's really a matter of showing their dominance.
India's great Chinese conundrum.
Nobody can contain it. Not the United States, not China, not anybody else.
Frenemies. Streaming now.
The world is facing a crisis.
You've noticed an increase in the amount of money that you're spending at the grocery store. You're not alone.
But rising food prices are starting to bite.
Millions are struggling to put food on the table, raising alarm bells across the globe.
Fresh vegetables are scarce. They're only going to get more expensive.
Food insecurity looks like obesity. We have an abundance, but it's the wrong food.
But what if we could reimagine the global food system? A great leap forward is making food more affordable and sustainable. As the global population continues to rise, the demand for food is increasing.
If we have more mouth, obviously we have to produce more to feed everyone.
Putting a huge amount of pressure on the world's arable land.